Hello Noddies. Today we are going to design one of the most important digital circuit in VLSI, the D flip-flop, which actually stores one bit of the information. Now you might think, this is a digital circuit, so why are we covering it on an analog VLSI channel? The reason is that D flip-flop are used almost everywhere. From PLLs, frequency dividers, counter, shift register, clock generation circuit to many more mixed signal systems. So even as analog or mixed signal IC designer, understanding flip-flop is extremely important. Also, throughout this lecture, our primary focus is only on understanding the working principle. Since we are not optimizing for power, speed or silicon area, we won't discuss the transistor W/L ratio in this video. Those become important during optimization and physical design. Let's begin with the simplest possible memory. Suppose I connect two inverters back to back. Whatever appears at the output is fed back to the input. If the output is high, the first inverter becomes low. The second inverter again produces high. So the circuit keeps storing the logic state forever. Similarly, this happens vice versa too. But unfortunately, we have no way to write new data into it. So let's replace the inverter with the NAND gates. Since NAND gates has additional input pins, we can now force the stored value whenever we want. From this we can see the truth table of both NAND and OR gate here. And when both the inputs are same, the output is the complementary of the input on both the NAND and OR gate. Here from this we can notice that an OR based implementation is also possible. But throughout this lecture today, we will focus only on the NAND based design. I encourage all of you to pause after this video and try deriving the NOR version yourself. The working principle is very similar and it's a great exercise. Since we are implementing the NAND version, here is the CMOS realization of the NAND version. Notice that the NMOS transistors are connected in series while the PMOS transistors are connected in parallel. We will use this NAND gate as the basic building block for everything that follows. Now let's try to design one NAND gate in Cadence. So here I have implemented the NAND gate and here A and B are my input and the out is my output. Now I have to convert this transistor level schematic into a cell view. For that I have to go to create, cell view, from cell view and click OK. Here since I am redoing this step, here this pop-up is showing up. If you are doing it for the first time, this pop-up won't show up. So here my left pins are my input and the right pin is my output. Click check and save. So here I have generated the cell view for my transistor level schematic. Now we cross couple two NAND gates. This gives us the SR latch. Here whenever the set input goes high, the output stores as the value I. Whenever the reset input becomes active, the output becomes low. And if neither of the input is active, the latch simply stores its previous value. So now we have finally built a practical 1-bit memory. Here the NOR based SR latch is just a vice versa of the NAND based SR latch. However, there is still one problem. The SR latch has no synchronization with the processor clock. That means that output changes immediately whenever the input changes. Modern digital systems don't work this way. Almost everything inside a processor is synchronized with the clock. So now let's introduce a clock for this SR latch. Here this is our new modified circuit. Before reaching the SR latch, both the inputs pass through the NAND gate controlled by the clock. When the clock is active, the inputs are allowed to update the memory. Otherwise, the latch simply holds the previous value. This gives us the SR flip-flop. The major advantage is that now the circuit is synchronized with the processor clock. But unfortunately, one problem still exists. If both S and R goes to low simultaneously, the output becomes unpredictable. This is called the race condition. So how do we remove this race condition? Here, instead of providing separate S and R inputs, we can simply generate the R pin by inverting the S pin, which is named as D here because it is called as the D latch. So in the circuit, whenever the D goes to high, the R input automatically becomes low and vice versa. So it's impossible for both the inputs to become active together. This completely removes the race condition and the circuit is called the D-latch. So we have solved one problem, but another problem appears. Whenever the clock is high, the output automatically follows the input. So if the input changes 3 times, the output also changes 3 times. That's why a D-latch is called a transparent latch. Because of this behavior, it's not suitable when we want the output to update only once every clock cycle. The waveform makes this very clear. Whenever the clock input remains high, the output simply follows every transition of the input. Only when the clock goes low, the output stops changing its value. Now let's try to simulate this D-latch in our Cadence. So this is the circuit of the D-latch, and instead of using an inverter separately here, I have clubbed both the input of the NAND gate to the same D input. As I said earlier, the NAND gate acts as an inverter. So for this example, I have set the period as 10 micro and 5 micro as the pulse width for the D input, and the period as 50 micro and 25 micro for the clock input. Check and save, launch, ADL, and I am running my trans for 100 microsecond. Here I am selecting my input and output to view the waveform, and I am running my simulation. So from this output, we can clearly see whenever the clock input is high, the output just follows the input. And whenever the clock input is low, the output just goes to 0. So this is the working of a D-latch. Here I am removing my input and converting this schematic into a cell view. In order to do save a circuit, create cell view, from cell view, click OK. Here D and clock are my input pins and they are on the left side, and Q and Q bar are my output pins and they are on the right side. Click OK, and here I have generated the cell view for the D-latch. So now that we have our D-latch, we may have a question. How do we stop the output from continuously following the input? The answer is surprisingly simple. Here we connect two D-latches in series. The first latch is called as the master latch and the second latch is called as the save latch. Here notice that they are driven by opposite clock phases. So when one latch is active, the other one is holding its previous value. Let's first see the positive edge triggered flip-flop. During the low clock phase, the master tracks the input while the slave holds its previous value. At the rising edge of the clock, the master closes, the slave opens, and only then does the stored value appears at the output. The output changes only once, exactly at the positive clock edge. If we simply interchange the clock phases, the output now updates at the falling edge. This gives us the negative edge triggered D flip-flop. The concept is exactly same, only the triggering edge changes. Here from this diagram we can see the output changes only when the clock goes from high to low. Now let's try to simulate this D flip-flop in our Cadence. So here this is my final D flip-flop circuit. And here too you can notice I have used my NAND gate as inverter here. This is positive edge triggered D flip-flop. So here for the example I have used the period as 20 micro and pulse width as 10 micro for the D input, and period as 10 micro and 5 micro with the delay of 2 micro for the clock input. Click check and save and ignore the warning here. The warning is majorly because here the Q bar is unconnected. So we can simply ignore the warning here. Go to launch, ADL, choose your analysis as trans. Here I am giving the stop time to be 50 micro. Here I am selecting my D clock as my input and Q as my output. Run your simulation. So from this graph we can clearly see whenever the clock goes from 0 to 1, the output changes. So we have successfully simulated our D flip-flop, and don't forget to remove the input sources and convert this schematic into a cell view, because there are many videos coming from this D flip-flop series like up counter, down counter and shift registers. So don't forget to convert this schematic into a cell view. So here I have converted my flip-flop into a cell view. And that's all for today's video, Noddies. So in today's video, we started with two simple inverter, converted them into a NAND based memory, built a SR latch, added clock synchronization to obtain a SR flip-flop, removed the race condition using a D latch, and finally connected two latches together to build the D flip-flop used in the model digital system. As a small challenge, I encourage all of you to derive the NOR-based D flip-flop on your own. The concepts are almost identical, and trying it yourself will strengthen your understanding much more than simply watching another explanation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, keep learning, keep building and keep simulating.